Hi everyone, Maureen here from the VPP. Let's talk today about mental health and substance use. This is a disclaimer that some of what we discuss today could be triggering for some of you. Some of the content we cover could provoke strong emotions, reactions, or realizations to your current way of thinking. If you're feeling triggered, that's okay. Take some time, step away, reach out if you need support. There will be a list of resources at the end of this presentation that have to do with mental health and substance use supports in our area. Before we get too far, let's define mental health. Mental health is defined as a state of well-being. It's important to know that all of us have a state of mental health, just as we have a state of physical health. Mental health has to do with our capacity to enjoy life, our ability to form relationships, our drive to achieve goals, having a sense of purpose, and bouncing back from life's lows. Many people use the terms mental health and mental illness interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Mental health challenges or mental illnesses have to do with a disturbance in people's thoughts, feelings, or perceptions that are severe enough to affect their day-to-day functioning. Statistics show that 1 in 5 Canadians will experience a mental health challenge in a given year. Given that it's so common, why do you think that we don't discuss this more often? Ultimately, it comes down to stigmatization. Stigma is negative or unfavorable attitudes and the behavior they produce. It is a form of prejudice that perpetuates discrimination and stereotyping. It's often a result of misinformation or fear. But mental health challenges or mental illnesses, whether diagnosed or not, are extremely common. All of us have highs and lows when it comes to our mental health. Achieving and maintaining good mental health isn't a one-person journey. In fact, every setting, situation, and person you encounter has an effect on our mental wellness. But how do we gauge our mental health? Research shows that there are 6 factors that indicate good mental wellness. These include a sense of purpose, strong, healthy relationships with others, feeling connected, having a good sense of self, ability to cope with stress, and enjoying life in general. Everyone experiences bouts of sadness. This is a natural and normal response to life's ups and downs. Depression is different, however. It's characterized by intense and persistent negative emotions, and it can severely impact a person's physical health, their relationships, and their ability to enjoy their lives. Causes of depression can range from genetic components to substance use, traumatic events, and major life changes. Although everyone's experiences with depression are different, some common symptoms can include a loss of interest in things you once enjoyed, sleeping and eating disturbances, feelings of anxiousness, restlessness, or irritability, a persistent low or sad mood, thoughts of death or suicide, and substance use and misuse, just to name a few. Nicki Minaj opens up about her depression and thoughts of suicide in saying it was just one dead end after another. At one point, I was like, what would happen if I just didn't wake up? That's how I felt, like maybe I should just take my life. I'm sure that all of us have felt this way at one point or another. Statistics show that a whopping 11% of men and 16% of women will experience major depression in their lifetimes. Furthermore, an 11.8% of Canadians will contemplate suicide throughout their lives. Anxiety is a normal reaction that we all experience at some point in our lives, whether it's in a situation that we perceive as dangerous or in preparation for an important event. Anxiety is our body's internal alarm system that alerts us to danger and helps our body respond to it. Anxiety in some ways is beneficial and has been essential for our survival as a species. It can become a problem, though, when we feel these types of effects when there is no real danger present, when it impedes our ability to engage in everyday activities, or when it creates intense feelings that cause distress. When someone experiencing anxiety is confronted with a potential threat, their mind focuses only on the danger of that threat, whether it's actually a dangerous situation, like seeing a bear, or not, like talking to your crush. This results in physiological symptoms like flushed skin, trouble breathing, excess sweating. All of these are physiological responses, part of the fight, flight, or freeze reaction. It may cause people to avoid certain social situations that could be fun for them, like parties or dating, or even responsibilities like getting a job or a driver's license. Because anxiety can have so many physiological symptoms, it can be difficult to tell if that's really what's going on. Canadian actor Ryan Reynolds discusses the fact that he went to several doctors complaining of his neurological symptoms, only to be told that he's suffering from anxiety. Chance the Rapper also opens up about his experiences with anxiety and states that as a child growing up, it simply wasn't discussed. Think for a moment about your own family's attitudes and approaches to mental health. Take some time to reflect upon what those attitudes and approaches have taught you about your own mental health, as well as how you respond to others. Eating disorders are a common mental health challenge experienced by teens, with girls being affected at 10 times the rate of boys. Approximately 1 million Canadians are affected by eating disorders. Eating disorders aren't just all about food, but are a way for people to cope with difficult life situations or an attempt to regain control over their lives. They are complicated illnesses that affect a person's sense of identity, their self-worth, and their self-esteem. Many times, they co-occur with other mental health conditions, such as anxiety, depression, or substance use. There are two main types of disordered eating. The first is anorexia, which is characterized by an intense fear of gaining weight and the refusal to maintain an adequate body weight. They restrict their food intake to the point where it affects their physical health. The second is bulimia, which is characterized by a cycle of binge eating and then purging, either using self-induced vomiting or laxatives to undo the damages of binge eating in an attempt to limit weight gain. Riverdale star Camila Mendes opens up about her experiences with an eating disorder, talking about the fear, guilt, and shame that she would feel in response to eating something as simple as a sweet or even a healthy food like an avocado. We are constantly being given messages about what is and is not okay when it comes to the size and shape of our bodies, from media, social media, friends, family, and our intimate partner relationships. Other people can have a huge influence on how we feel about our own bodies. Things like bullying, body shaming, and modeling unhealthy behaviors all have a significant impact on our relationship with our own bodies. Substance use disorders are characterized by a problematic and recurrent use of drugs or alcohol that causes a significant amount of impairment or distress in a person's daily life. Substance use exists along a spectrum, from first-time use all the way to frequent use that can lead to addiction. People are at an elevated risk of developing substance use disorders if they have a family member also struggling with a substance use disorder, if they have a co-occurring mental health condition, if they are a member of the 2S LGBTQ community, if they are living homeless, or if they have a history of trauma. There are many reasons why someone may turn to drugs and alcohol, and these can range all the way from fitting in socially to alleviating emotional or physical pain. Unfortunately, our relationships can also be a motivating factor when considering the use of drugs and alcohol. To further your understanding, let's take a look at this short video that explores the link between connection and addiction. Montreal Canadiens goaltender Carey Price shocked fans when he announced that he was entering a residential rehab facility in October 2021. Unfortunately, his career as a professional athlete was likely what prevented him from getting help sooner. According to the British Journal of Health Medicine, stigma was the number one reported factor preventing elite athletes with mental health challenges from seeking help, believing that it would make them seem weak in the eyes of managers, peers, and the public. Of course, we know that acknowledging and seeking help for our mental health challenges and substance use disorders is not weak at all and is in fact a hallmark of strength, but it shows how much work we need to do when it comes to stigmatization. There is also a strong but not causal link between substance use and intimate partner violence. This means that substance use often accompanies intimate partner violence, but it is not a cause of nor an excuse for an abusive partner's behaviors. If the survivor is addicted to substances, it can also be used as a means of control. Survivors are at an elevated risk of developing substance use disorders, which may leave them in a dangerous space, as they are less likely to be able to defend themselves or assess their level of danger correctly. According to a 2019 survey conducted by the Canadian Centre for Addiction and Mental Health, these are the top 5 substances used by youth grades 7 through 12 in Canada. Unfortunately, substance use disorders often begin in adolescence. When teenagers are experiencing strong emotions, they often turn to drugs or alcohol to alleviate these symptoms. In the short term, it might make them feel better, but it can actually exacerbate mental health conditions and create future dependency. This is especially true for those who are also suffering from mental health conditions. In fact, studies show that over 65% of youth who have a substance use disorder also have a concurrent mental health disorder. So, why would someone with a mental health condition be more prone to using substances? Well, in the short term, it can help create a false sense of balance, as well as temporarily boost our self esteem, ease social interactions, and mask difficult emotions or struggles. It doesn't actually help us deal with any of our problems, though, and it can actually create physical and mental health problems, such as increased aggression, impulsivity, and suicidality. Knowing what we know now about substance use and its effects on mental wellness, let's explore some healthy coping strategies. These can include exercise, talking about your problems, prioritizing healthy sleeping and eating habits, seeking professional help, utilizing relaxation or problem solving techniques, and using your social support system. We all use coping strategies when faced with difficult emotions or life situations. Some of these coping strategies are healthy and some are unhealthy. Unhealthy coping strategies may feel good in the moment, but they have long lasting negative consequences. Healthy coping strategies, on the other hand, may not give us that instant gratification, but their effects are positive and long term, and they're better for us overall. For your own self reflection, take some time now to determine what healthy or unhealthy coping strategies you use now or could use in the future. By identifying barriers to our healthy coping strategies, we are better able to plan for the future and move around these obstacles so that we're more likely to engage in healthy behaviors. Experiencing the signs and symptoms on this list may mean that it's time for you to reach out to someone about your mental health struggles. Remember that seeking help is a sign of strength and that you are never, ever alone. If you're ever struggling with any aspect of your mental health, it's important to know where to turn to for help. This can include people you can talk to, but also strategies you can use to help manage these challenges. Follow the QR code here to download your very own copy of the Be Safe Pocket Guide. This is designed to be an independent activity to help you reflect on what you need to feel supported and can act as a resource to help you make decisions in times of mental health challenges. There is no pressure to share this with anyone else, but we do encourage you to share it with a trusted adult that you feel would be available to help you if you ever needed it. Please note that this is never a replacement for professional help or a call to emergency services in a time of mental health crisis. As promised, here is a list of local resources that can help support your mental health and substance use challenges. If you ever feel like you need support, please reach out. Someone is always there. Someone is always ready to help. You are not alone. Remember to follow us on Instagram at WCS_VPP or visit our website at berryshelter.com. Please follow this QR code to complete our Ontario Trillium Foundation survey. Feedback from this survey helps keep our funding as well as continuously improve these presentations. Thank you for watching.